got that to spin and bounce.
Oh, ball back. Defended into the turf. Pope sniffing away there at short leg. 164 for 9. Well, July 14th, 6 years ago, famous day here at Lord's with Jofra Archer and Ben Stokes centre stage, as they have been today. England's World Cup final victory, of course, by the barest of margins. Tim Southey is in the other dressing room today. And, right on cue, on the 6-year anniversary of probably the moment he'll be most remembered for when he bowled that super over. Archer has been brought back to try and finish this game off. He's already had an impact on today with those early wickets. Got Rishabh Pant with a beauty that knocked the off pole out of the ground, and then took a great catch diving away one-handed to get rid of Washington Sundar. Can he find something special to end Jadeja's resistance?
The last ball again, just clearly showing why Archer is so dangerous. Watching him from the outside as well, it's as if generates space from nowhere. Everything is so easy and languid about his action.
He's going to conserve it a bit though to Jadeja. First ball was 80 miles an hour, as was the second, which is way below where Archer can bowl. The ball is 71.2 overs old now. The pitch has died. You're going to conserve his energy for when Siraj gets on strike. And keep your eye on the overs as they tick up towards the second new ball. So hard for Jadeja to hit boundaries with men out. Ball is so soft now.
Just to keep going for so long, playing in the same fashion is an achievement in itself, because it's so easy to think that you might have to do something different, try something else. He stuck to his guns.
Not far away from the outside edge. If we get there, it's going to change the dynamic unbelievably, isn't it? The second new ball, because England will have to attack with it, but that will open up the opportunity for Jadeja to suddenly maybe get a flurry of boundaries. But we're away from that yet. We've still got 8.2 overs until that moment comes. Scampers through for a single, so Siraj will have one ball to survive. Two short legs in. Pope very close. Crawley a bit deeper. And a leg slip and two slips. Sit round the corner. He wants the run. And Jadeja says, OK, in the end we'll take one. 166 for 9.
I think he took the single because it's Bashir bowling at the other end. Backs himself against spin. Somehow manages to keep it out.
So Siraj on strike now at the start of an over, but it is Bashir. He's only bowled 4 overs today. He's hardly been on the field. He's only been on the field when he's been required to bowl. Stokes just drops 10 yards deeper at mid-on. He's lobbed that one up, and there might have been an inside edge on it, but there's no silly point, and Siraj can scamper through and get Jadeja back on strike. There was an inside edge. It was a run given.
Big inside edge. Tension will build. This can start getting frustrating for England. The longer this carries on. It's into the 20s, the target now. 28. 20. 26, in fact.
Oh, yes, Basha!
Good bounce there for Bashir, even with this very old ball. And he's just bowled it a little more slowly. The first 2 balls of this over, he's definitely tried to get a bit more flight on it. See it going up out of his hand. That's why he's got that overspin and that bounce.
Oh, yes, Basha!
Very tight single. Jadeja scampers through again. Jamie Smith it was who shied at the stumps. Think it hit Jadeja on the boot, actually.
See the tension in there amongst the families. It's nail-biting stuff now. 25 needed. Every run being cheered, every run being counted down. People who've taken seats in the dressing room will not be allowed to move.
Who's the most superstitious in there, Ravi?
I think everyone. You could see the same 3 were sitting before tea. They've all taken their positions. Everyone.
Still no silly point. There's a big inside edge earlier in the over, but Stokes doesn't want a silly point. He could bring Wokes, who's at backward point. Does Siraj have a big reverse sweep in him?
Even attempting that.
Cheers as Siraj survives another over from Bashir. India 25 runs away. And you, Ravi, you're the only one in this commentary box who is personally acquainted with a tie in Test cricket.
Yes, it was 1986 against Australia. I think I was out there. Last man out was Maninder Singh. Vikram Raju was the umpire. His hands went up at the rate of knots faster than anyone in Texas. I was saying, because Mani had nicked it. Everyone knew that, and I put my hand up saying no, wait there. When I turned around, the finger was already up. Thank God there was no match referee then. A definite ban for a bit, because I went straight into the umpire's room and said something very kindly.
Yeah, only 2 ties in the history of Test cricket. That game in Chennai, one in Brisbane at the Gabba, 1960-61. Here's Archer. Inside edge, I fancy. If somebody's going to have to get the ball.
2 sounds.
Back foot.
Joffre's indicating that he's not sure. He didn't hear the inside edge, but fairly certain there was one. In that tied game, was that kind of an inside edge you were talking about before the LB?
No, a little more, because Border was at silly point and he was going to save the single. Oh, unbelievable game. There were 5,000 or 7,000 people at the start of the day's play. There were 50,000 after tea. With India going for the target, big one. Australia declared. We're chasing 347, I think.
What a day those lucky enough to have tickets here at Lord's have enjoyed. Totally absorbing day in a funny kind of way. Just 50 runs in an extended afternoon session. Only one wicket falling, but it just shows you that you can get tension in a game from all kinds of passages of play. Really, it doesn't have to be sixes and fours being belted around or wickets falling. Every run counts here, and England striving for that one final wicket. That was a bit quicker. Yeah, 89 miles an hour, that one. He's been operating around 80, 82. Just slipped himself there.
Well, the fun and games will start when it gets into the teens. Countdown begins 19, 18. You can see messages coming from there.
Gets a bat on it, but it'll only be one. Shoaib Bashir, who of course, we think he's got a broken finger on his left hand. He came hurrying round from deep point. He's not had to do a lot of fielding today, but he had to make sure he stopped this one, broken hand or broken finger or not. So he went with it one-handed, but hurt himself as he dived. One ball of the 74th over remaining. Pope, he's so close in at short leg. A second short leg as well. Leg slip, 2 slips. Oh, somehow the ball goes down. Siraj turns his back. It's hit him on the shoulder or the back. The ball went down. Yeah, in the shoulder it got him, and there'll be a delay here. What fight this Indian team have shown today. They appeared dead and buried, really, an hour into play. But they're still out there fighting.
Whichever team wins, I think India should be proud of the way they've played today, especially after lunch. The character they've shown, stomach for a fight. Even the tail ender is not giving up. There's been a lot of short stuff. They've been hit, wrapped on the knuckles, hit on the shoulder, but they're not giving up. The crowd realize the effort they put in. Jadeja calm as ever at the other end.
Joffre's getting a bit there from some Indian supporters. But with 2 short legs in, that was the ball to bowl. What speed was it? 58 miles an hour, so he just slipped himself towards the end of that over. He's still got it in him, even with this old ball and a dying pitch. Well, the wickets and the action came at the start of the day. Archer first of all, demolishing Rishabh Pant's off stump. Stokes won an LBW against KL Rahul on review. Wonderful athleticism from Archer, outstretched right hand doing for Washington Sundar for none. And Nitish Reddy on the point of lunch. He looked pretty secure, but he feathered one behind off Chris Wokes, and at that stage you thought India were dead and buried. But Bumrah hung around for 108 minutes and 54 balls before that happened, before he hit a short ball to Sam Cook at mid-on. And since then, Siraj and Jadeja have added 22, 18 of which have come from Jadeja's bat. An hour's worth of batting. So that character and fight is still there from India.
And courage. It's still not over. This could be anyone's game. India know it. Once it gets into the teens, they'll start believing.
He can afford to toss it up. He's got so much cover out there. He can afford to really dangle the carrot. He's happy. He's got confidence in Siraj facing spin. I think Stokes can afford to get a catcher in on the offside. I think that message has come, or either Stokes has decided or somebody else has said, get a silly point in, because there was that inside edge that bobbed up. And it's Root now who's gone into silly point. So silly point, short leg, leg slip. Bashir's got 3 balls at Siraj.
Wonder if he attempts the sweep. Square legs up. There's an opportunity there.
What a way for this test match to end. Shoaib Bashir, broken finger on his left hand, has spun one onto Siraj's bat. It's rolled back onto the stumps, and India's resistance is finally broken.
What a match. England winning by 22, but both the players out there in disbelief. As is the dressing room. They fought so hard. Ball just rolling back onto the stumps, and that's a terrific gesture. This is Test cricket at its best. India can be proud of their effort. They fought hard today. At lunchtime, everyone thought it was done and dusted, but this man has shown great courage, Jadeja. To keep his cool, he was still there at the end, and it will need a crane to get Siraj out of the park.
Yeah, he's down on his haunches, much as Brett Lee was in that famous match at Edgbaston 20 years ago, a game that finished really fine margins. This one a bit bigger than that. 23 runs is the margin of victory, but Great heart and fight by India this afternoon, never giving in, and it required a unbelievable moment really with Bashir, who spent most of the day off the field, brought on to take England to the second new ball, flighted one up, and it just spun back off the bat onto leg stump and dislodged the bail. Seen this happen a lot where the bail hasn't come off recently actually, but it just spun back in off and the bail just dropped off.
How unlucky was that? I mean, the ball has spun a long way after pitching. And the England team jubilant. Bashir, the man, finishing off the test match. And England taking a 2-1 lead in the Anderson Tendulkar Trophy. And the series is now alive with one team in the lead.
Wonderful test match. A quite brilliant game between two sides who gave their all. And Shubman Gill, he'll be a disappointed man, but he can be proud of his team's efforts today. They look done and dusted an hour into the final day's play, but they hung on in there through that extended afternoon session. They took the game deep into the final session. And they will know after 3 games they might be behind 2-1, but they've played enough good cricket to know that this series is not done yet. But Stokes, after just 3 days break between Edgbaston and Lords, what a performance he's put in here as England captain. Vital runs, wickets. He bowled a 9-over spell this morning, a 10-over spell in the afternoon. He looked out on his feet at one stage, but he has driven his team and got them over the line.
Yeah, they'll be proud of their effort. And full marks to England. They hung in there. At times, at 40 for 1 yesterday, looked India being firm favourites. And then the fight back in the last 45 minutes, and then a great start this morning. Archer and Stokes, and they'll get a standing ovation from the long room. And the members, they've watched a fascinating test match, an enthralling game. And what a series we've had. 15 days of test match cricket, and at the end of it, England 2, India 1.
Such a dramatic day's play in so many ways to end the most magnificent test match. Think what we've seen in this game. Beautiful hundreds for Root and for KL Rahul. 5 wickets for Jasprit Bumrah. Look how exhausted Stokes is, leading his team up the stairs into that home dressing room. But it's a nice kind of a tiredness when you've won the match and not lost it. Think of Ravindra Jadeja, gave his all today, unbeaten on 61, trying to guide his side home. He got brilliant support from Bumrah first of all, over 108 minutes worth of batting and 54 balls, and then Siraj, who lasted for 30 until he couldn't quite keep out. This delivery from Shoaib Bashir, it bounced a touch, and because he defended it with such soft hands, that's why the ball had backspin, and it went on to the leg stump. Just hard enough to dislodge the bail, and England had their moment of victory.
Unbelievable scenes. Shoaib Bashir engulfed by his teammates. This is what you play for. It's that final moment, and what an effort from Ben Stokes. 10 over spells, 9 over spells, he just toiled away.
Heartbreak and elation. Heartbreak for Siraj, who had done his best to keep Jadeja company. An absolute elation for England now, who have a 2-1 lead. There is so much to play for in this series. A test match to come at Old Trafford, then there'll be one at the Oval. It is not done yet because India have played some fantastic cricket. They've gone down here at Lords, bowled out in their second innings for 170. Ravindra Jadeja top scoring there, unbeaten on 61 from 181 balls. Wickets, well, they were shared around. Jofra Archer, 3, with 2 big ones this morning. Ben Stokes, who drove himself to the point of exhaustion, he picked up 3. Ryden Cast a couple, and one important one for Woakes just before lunch. The winning one, the winning wicket to Shoaib Bashir, who only bowled 5.5 overs because he's got a broken finger on his left hand, but he got the final wicket of Mohammad Siraj. What a test match. Scores level on first innings. England 192 all out in their second innings, and India falling 22 runs short, 170 all out. England win, take a 2-1 series lead.
Goodness gracious me. What a way to end one of the great test matches. The tamest of dismissals. That ball hardly had the energy to take that bail off, but it did. Both sides have been absolutely phenomenal. It's been a privilege to be here. Well, let's just take a breath for a moment and remind you what other sport is coming your way on our network. Thursday from Royal Portrush, the Open Championship.
It out, knowing he's running out of partners, but still having the mental resilience and courage to keep going over after over, not making an error. He's batted brilliantly. And the attitude of Siraj and Bumrah is a lot to learn from for all of Indian cricket for sure, because they just didn't want to give up. They wanted to make a match out of it. At 12:30, this match could have been done, but they just kept pushing and prodding and did everything possible to stay in the game. And they in fact extended tea by half an hour, still didn't let go, came back, and absolutely anticlimactic, you know. If it was a Zinger bail, probably it wouldn't even have fallen, because that's pretty heavy in itself. Hit the rough and went around. It almost felt like it had to happen because of how the match was panning out to be, but great effort from India. They can take a lot of happiness out of the way they actually fought in that middle session.
It's something that happens in the modern game a lot, actually. The ball hits the stump and actually the bail does not come off. I was watching it slowly roll back. I think that bail's not going to come off, and somehow it did.
I thought it hadn't come off, and I looked, and Siraj did that.
Your mincers are terrible, though.
I know, and it was on the ground. I mean, you'd really feel from neither Jadeja or Stokes deserved to be on that losing side. It ended up being Jadeja, and Siraj almost just played it too soft. He played it exactly how you should play Shoaib Bashir. Look, he plays it nicely, back foot, soft hands, and it's spun back, isn't it? It is spun and on through his legs and onto the stumps, and he could not believe it.
The contrasting emotions were stark. There's a brilliant shot. I'm sure a load of the world-class photographers that are here will get it in a still. Bashir's off. His teammates are trying to catch him. His hand is bandaged up with that broken finger. He won't play, we don't think, a further part in the series. Meanwhile, the two Indian players are on their haunches, distraught. He punching the bat into the turf. He's so proud of what he's done. I mean, the contrast is just extraordinary. That's what sport throws up.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more. But that picture for me is the most wonderful picture. Stokes walking out there, shaking hands, and they've had it really hard. They've gone at each other. They've had words to say. Every wicket that fell today, Jofra Archer started it, had something to say to the batter whenever he got him out. But at the end of it all, respect. They liked the way they played their cricket. It was great to watch, and that's the kind of theatre that this format needs, and the world of cricket needs to see. You played really hard, go at each other. At the end of it, you shake hands and say, well done to the team that won, and that was exactly how it panned out today.
I'll talk captains here. Stokes absolutely spent walking up the stairs. Great shot of him leading the team up the stairs back to the dressing room. You can see him blowing out his cheeks, his cap's on the wrong way round, leading his troops. Absolutely mentally fried from the thinking he's had to do, much less the amount of bowling he's done today.
Yeah, absolutely. The thinking was up front in the day and maybe overnight. He knew that Jofra Archer didn't have his best spell yesterday from that far end. So the debate was Stokes was always going to bowl that nursery end. Who does he go here? And we were at dinner last night and we were discussing this. Who does he go at this end? And how do you handle someone like Jofra Archer? The better bowler yesterday was Cast from this end. But what does it do to Jofra if you hold him back? Which is better, the carrot or the stick? I think he realised, having that emotional intelligence that he has, I'm going to show you I back you, Jofra. Here's the ball, I'm backing you. Come at your favourite end, go and do it. And he did it. So that was the thinking side, but then the physical side takes over. He bowls 9 overs, he comes back, he bowls another 10 overs. You couldn't take the ball out of his hand. At one stage he turned to Wokes and Archer and went one more, and then he bowled another 3. It is a concern, but he had to do it. All the time in the previous games, Zimbabwe, even at the start of the series, you saw when he was saying, I'm only going to bowl 5-6. In the back of my mind, I was thinking, well, when it really matters, are you just going to bowl 5-6? When it really mattered today, you could not take the ball out of his hand.
This is a bit of a test for Shubman Gill. Young man, new to captaincy. What do you say to a team in the dressing room that has fought right to the very end, given absolutely everything they've had, yet still come out on the wrong end of this?
If you're going to judge the match based on what happened today, I think you're looking at it at the wrong side. Right. You got to look at 376 for 6 in the first innings, 387 all out. Yet again, a bit of a mini collapse. The catch that KL Rahul dropped, Jamie Smith on 5 in the first innings. The fact that you've conceded 63 extras across 2 innings, how much do those things matter to you? Those are the conversations that you need to have, not the shots that you played today or the way the tailenders really showed grit and determination. It's across 5 days. There were moments in the game when you could have definitely gone ahead, and India didn't do, probably for the 3rd time now in this series. But when they've really used their brains and just stuck it out there, like they did in Edgbaston, they found a way to get ahead and dominate a test match. They've been in very strong positions, but let go. An England team didn't bat well, according to me, in the 3rd innings as well. They could have easily come out here and just batted through, knowing the new ball was the toughest phase to bat. And then through the middle, the softer ball was easier to play. But it wasn't all of that. They didn't have a bit of a plan. In the end, it just didn't go India's way.
Two other areas as well, when they had a perfectly good newish ball and they threw it away. Bumrah just bowled and got 3 for 9, and the ball was talking, and they got rid and got a softer ball, and Cast belted it for 50. And obviously the Rishabh Pant run out just on the stroke of lunch, when Pant and KL were going so well. That run out, when you look back, will be absolutely vital in this game.
The contributions that Ben Stokes has made as an individual, as a captain in this team and in this test match have been absolutely phenomenal. A wonderful test, fabulous cricket, hard fought, but it all ends with a marginal victory for England. We'll hear from Ben, we'll hear from Shubman with Michael Atherton. What a game of cricket.
Welcome to the presentation for the third match of this Rothesay Test Series between England and India. And congratulations to England, who win by 22 runs in a quite absorbing Test match. You just couldn't take your eyes off. They go 2-1 up in the five-match Rothesay Series. To conduct our interviews in a few moments will be Sky Sports' Michael Atherton, and the first part of this presentation ceremony will be a few words with India's captain, Shubman Gill.
Shubman, great disappointment, I'm sure, but how proud are you of the spirit and character that your players showed this afternoon?
Extremely proud. I don't think this is as close as a test match can get. 5 days of hard-fought cricket, and comes down to the last session, last wicket, and tremendously proud of the effort.
How confident were you coming to the ground today, this morning?
Pretty confident, with plenty of batting left in our side. I was pretty confident, but I think the way England kept attacking our batsmen, and we wanted to have maybe a couple of 15 partnerships in our top order, and we weren't able to do that, and they played better than us.
4 wickets fell this morning, so at lunch, had you given up hope, or were you still just clinging to a little bit?
No, there's always hope, as long as there's a batsman batting, there's always some hope, one 50-run partnership, because the target wasn't massive, 150-60-run partnership, and you're right back in the game.
And was the tactics of, obviously, Jadoo turning down lots of runs, trying to farm the strike, were there any instructions coming from the dressing room, or is he just an experienced enough player to let him get on with it out there?
He's very experienced, didn't want to give him any message. I think he was batting brilliantly with the tail, and just wanted him and the tail-enders to keep batting as much as possible.
Let's look back at a couple of turning points in the game. The run out of Rishabh Pant in the first innings, when he and KL Rahul were going so smoothly, that was a big moment.
Definitely, I think at one point we thought if we get a lead of maybe 80 or 100 runs, that might be crucial for us, because we knew fifth day on this wicket might not be that easy to be able to chase around 150, 200 runs. So we were thinking, yes, if we get a lead of 80 or 100 runs, we would be in a good position.
And then the last half hour, last evening, with 3 wickets fell in the final half hour, and then the first 40 minutes or so this morning, things turned around pretty quickly then.
Yes, very quickly. I think the last 1 hour that we played, I think we could have applied ourselves a little bit better, especially the last 2 wickets that fell. And even in this morning, like I said, the way I think they came up with the plans, we were hoping for 150-run partnership. If we would have gotten a 150-run partnership in the top order, then things would have been easier for us.
2 matches left. Are you confident that the cricket that your team has played, even though you're 2-1 down, you've still got plenty to offer in this series?
Yes, definitely. Sometimes, the series scorecard doesn't really reflect on how you've played. I think we have played some really good cricket, and I think it's going to be an even exciting series from here on.
Jasprit Bumrah play at Old Trafford?
You'll get to know about it soon.
Thanks for your time. Well done to your team.
Thank you.
We now come to the player of the match, who receives not only a Rothesay medal, but a magnum of Chapeldown English sparkling wine. And this has been selected by the Sky Sports commentary team. Mentions the first innings about centuries. KL Rahul's 100 and Joe Root's 37th in his career at the Test Match Arena with 104. For the bowlers, Archer's return with 6 and Jasprit Bumrah with 7 in the game. But it came down to 2 all-rounders, Ravi Jadeja with 72 and taking his team so close today with 61, but missed out to England's Mr. Reliable. 44 and 33 in the 2 innings, 5 wickets in the match. The crucial run out of Rishabh Pant and his all-round grit and determination. The Rothesay player of the match, England captain Ben Stokes.
July the 14th, 6 years to the day of the World Cup final in 2019. Been some extraordinary finishes on that ground. This ground, that was another.
Yeah, it was. It was actually part of the reason why I went with Joff this morning with myself. Just had one of those feelings in the morning, like, what was it, 6 years ago now?
To the day?
To the day, yeah. So Joff played a major role in that, and I just had one of those feelings that he was going to do something special this morning, and he managed to crack the game open with those 2 wickets.
And that was an interesting call you had to make, because obviously Bryden Cast had bowled so beautifully from the pavilion end late last evening. You had to finish your over at the nursery end, so it wasn't a straightforward call.
No, it wasn't. There was a bit of discussion in the dressing room around that. Obviously, Bryden had an amazing spell last night, and he was charging in. He had some great rhythm, but you know, as I say, like, just had this gut feeling that just something was going to happen. Joff's first time back in the Test match team, and obviously the day that it was, and sometimes your gut works, I guess.
Yeah, 4.5-year absence for Jofra between Test matches. How thrilled are you to have him back? And talk us through his performance this week.
Yeah, it's been awesome to have him back out there. You know, every time that he gets announced on the tannoy that he's coming onto the bowl, you just hear the whole ground erupt. And you know, when he turns it on and starts running in and getting it up that, when the speeds come up on the screen, you know, it just the feeling in the game just changes. And you know, what an amazing effort from him to get through those overs. You know, first time back out. It's been a very, very tough week, no doubt, for him. But she got some crucial wickets for us, and it's absolutely great to have him back.
And physically for yourself, it was a monumental achievement, really. Only 3 days in between games. The last test went deep into the 5th day. You'd said ahead of the second test how tired you were after that opening test match win. So how much did you have to dig deep into your reserves today?
Yes. I had to go, yeah, I thought I'd taken myself to some pretty dark places before, but yeah, today was, but look, bowling to win Test match for your country, if that doesn't get you up, if that doesn't get you excited, I don't know what does. I mean, and the same thing again, you know, Shoaib Bashir, you know, broken hand, going out there, taking on, you know, the responsibility with the bat. You know, we thought that those few runs could become crucial at the end. Obviously, it was looking like they were going to be that way, and coming on, taking that last wicket, I mean, just written in the stars, like, what an absolute warrior to come out here and do that for his team.
We heard before the series Brendan McCullum say that he'd be a bit reluctant to see you putting in long shifts with the ball. I think he sent a message when you bowled a 7-over spell in the first innings, but 9 overs and 10 overs today. Was he okay with that?
Yeah, I think obviously with what today was, what was on the line, just sort of, yeah, yesterday was a bit different. You know, there was still more cricket to be played, and you know, pulled myself off there. I mean, to be honest, I was absolutely cooked yesterday as well. But again, today, you know, game was on the line. Nothing was stopping me coming off.
Man of the match, player of the match performance for you. Important runs in both innings. Bit of question marks or speculation about your batting form ahead of this game. Do you feel you're very close now?
Yeah, look, I'm an all-rounder. You know, I get 4 opportunities in a Test match to be able to influence the game, and one of the great things about being an all-rounder is that if one thing doesn't quite click, you've got an opportunity with the other, and that's how I look at it. You know, like, obviously, I would like to be scoring more runs at the moment, but you know, as soon as I've got my whites on and out there on the field, all my thoughts swip over to bowling, and that's the great thing about being an all-rounder, is that you don't really have a chance to sort of worry about anything, if that makes sense. And yeah, look, I think everyone knows I'll always put in as much as I possibly can.
And I asked Shubman Gill about that crucial run out of Rishabh Pant, which of course you affected. Not to forget how important those tiny moments in a Test match can be, and how you've got to be committed to every ball to change it.
Yeah, like as you say, I was in the middle of a spell there, so I was pretty pumped up. Very important position there, extra cover, and yeah, it was just one of those things where I was looking at the ball, and in my peripheral I just sort of seen Rishabh stutter a little bit. So yeah, just sort of, I don't know, my natural instincts and everything just took over, and it's one of the great feelings when you let go of a ball and you think, yeah, that's going to be heading towards the stumps, and then obviously when the bails came off. But yeah, it was a big part in the game. Rishabh was playing really well. We all know how destructive he can be. That wicket this morning was a pretty big one, and yeah, it was the man Jofra Archer to do it.
2-1 to the good now, but you'll know that India have played some serious cricket over 3 games, and this series is a long way from done yet.
Definitely. It was always going to be the way. 2 very good teams going at it. You know, this game again gone toe to toe. Not going to lie, cannot wait to just lie in my bed for 4 days and then be raring to go for Manchester again.
Well, it's been a magnificent Test match. Thank you for the part you've played. Well done.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Well done, mate.
Well, he said he was nowhere after the Leeds Test, and he was no use to the world for 3 days. He's going to be absolutely exhausted. now England's captain Ben Stokes, but he walks away with the Player of the Match award for his all-round contributions. The whole team, both teams, will be absolutely drained after the last 5 days we've had here at Lord's. Hot conditions, difficult pitch, slow pitch at times before it lit up, and we've seen one of the great test matches, and the man who's played a full part in that joins myself, Shooter Nasser. Jofra Archer, thank you for your time. Test cricket again, eh? What was that one like to be involved in?
It was very hectic for a first one back. You know, think about a few more overs than I thought it would as well. But you know, everyone really mattered today, so I'm not too fussed about it.
Missed the buzz. What was the buzz like of being back in whites and a red ball at Lord's?
I only played one other test at Lord's, but you know, the last one was just as special as this one. You know, it was a long time coming, a lot of rehab, you know, a lot of training. But you know, it's moments like this that make everything worth it.
Difficult moments as well when you're trying to get back to full fitness?
Yeah, but I feel the hardest part is, you know, playing like cricket for the last year and a half, and then, you know, still having the training wheels on, and, you know, talking about workloads and, you know, bowl today, don't bowl tomorrow, like stuff like that. That'd probably be the hardest part, because, you know, sometimes you think that you're ready, but, well, you never know if you're ready or not until you do it. But the safer way is the best way, so I'm not too fussed now. Well, this surely is worth all the wait.
Absolutely. Did you ever fear, though, that you wouldn't be wearing those whites again, and it might just be IPL, it might just be T20 and 4 over spells, not the shift you put in here?
Nah, not me. I think it would have been other people, you know. I reckon if I told Keezy I wanted to play, well, to be honest, we both did say that that's what we wanted to do. A few years ago, obviously, we're here now, and, you know, the plans that we've made then are now actually starting to, you know, like fill the calendar. So, yeah, just a bit speechless, you know, to see how everything's actually coming to plan, you know. I had overs marked down. I think my overs are still marked out for me down till December. So,
right.
I'm not totally out of the woods as yet, but this is definitely a good start.
I'm sure there are periods where you were watching the lads battle away in Test match cricket thinking, crikey, I wish I could help them. What's it like to be out there helping them, being in the moment with them?
Well, the style of cricket that we play right now means you're going to bowl a lot of overs.
Yeah, that's true. Be careful what you wish for. I'm going to show you some of your bowling, if I may, and take you back to your opening spell. And the first wicket, a beautiful one to get rid of Jaswal. You were off. Was that just all the frustration, all the hard work that you put in just coming out of you because you were so engaged?
I guess it was a little bit emotional. As I said earlier, sorry, that, you know, it was a long journey. You know, I can't tell you the amount of keyboard warriors that I had to put up with for the last 3 to 4 years as well. So yeah, it was just, I told myself that I was going to try my best not to be, and I guess when he nicked it and it went to Brookie, like, I think all of that just went through the window. Obviously, like, the joy, the whole crowd, like the long room yesterday was, I've never seen them like that ever in my life. So it's just moments like this that make the rehab all so much worth it.
Every time they got the ball in your hand, this crowd went up.
Yeah.
How big a lift was that for you?
Huge lift. They went a bit dead today, probably just after lunch, that phase, but they came back just at the end.
I just want to say, Geoff, first of all, very proud of you, mate, having been a former teammate. Wonderful to see you back in. But today, probably the most emotional I've seen you, like the most aggressive I've seen you in a bowling spell. Was that something that you thought about last night, like, I'm going to lead this attack, bringing the heat? Or was it just when you got pants wicket, sort of ignited you and you thought that it was such a crucial moment of the Test match?
No, it was a collective effort, to be honest. I think we all came together as a group yesterday and said, you know, we're a bit too nice. When we go other places, some teams aren't as nice to us as we are to them. So I guess we just tried to shift it, and who knows? I don't know if that's the reason that helped us give us that extra buzz today in the field. I don't know, but we will definitely keep that one in the bank. For the future.
Can you let us into a little secret? What did you whisper to Rishabh Pant as the off dolly was rotating back towards Jamie Smith? Did you just tell him that that was angled in and nipped away and hit the top of off?
It wasn't a proud moment, but I just tell him to charge that. You know, 'cause honestly, this morning I was like struggling a little bit. The ball just kept coming out full, and one of the full balls he just charged pissed me off a little bit. And you know, like, when the ball nipped down the slope, honestly, I was so grateful for that as well. And I think that gave everyone the energy then to go on and push for this win today.
It's great to see you back on a level of us enjoying watching you play Test match cricket, but also we appreciate all the hard work that you've put in. It must have been difficult. Fantastic, well done. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, guys.
See you in Manchester.
Thank you. Roddy, good to see you again.
Well done,
Cheers,
Geoff.
thank
Good
you.
stuff.
Thank you. Right, I'm going to nip up the bat.
I have that.
Stick it on there. Let's deal with the person. You know, he's talking about keyboard warriors and everything's been mapped out. There will have been some very, very lonely times for Jofra when he's had to do things he's probably bored of doing. To get him back here on a personal level must be phenomenal for him.
Absolutely. All the stuff that we don't see, that bowlers in particular have to go through. Batters will go through stuff and they come back and they play for a long time, or they get dropped and it's their fault. Bowlers don't have that feeling. Sometimes injuries are just not your fault. It's just something that happens to you. This man will tell you better than me. Your physically demanding job of being a fast bowler takes it out of you, and he has been affected by so many injuries. I think Rob Key and the England setup must take a lot of credit. He sort of intimated on how it's all been mapped out for him to get him back playing for England in Test match cricket. They've been very meticulous on when they would get him. They got him back for the Edgbaston Test and went, right, you're going to bowl in a mitt. And Mark Woodby told us that on the podcast. He said it is soul destroying. Coming back, bowling in a net, bowling in a mitt, and then watching your teammates go out there and do the proper cricket, the proper bowling at a batter at the other end for your country with the badge on your shirt. And, you know, he has to go through all that, and they've got him just about ready. Now, it's always fingers crossed. There is no point you go, well, Jofra's back, Mark Wood's back. It just that we don't get to this point with those two. It is fingers crossed for the future, but that was a lovely sign and a lovely week for an individual that has been through a lot.
He's a cool cat, isn't he? He is on interview, and even when you see him round the traps. But you know, and you got to know him pretty well with all the time you spent with him in the dressing room. What do you think that will mean to him the last 5 days?
Saw immediate emotion when he got his first wicket in his first over. It was just I think you summed it up. The frustration, the hard work that he put into getting back all just came out of him in that emotion. He wouldn't have known what was happening for 20 seconds, just charging around, ending up at square leg. But today, it's interesting to hear him say the emotion that was brought by the team was a deliberate thing. Bit of talk in the change room. They've been too nice. They need to just lift the emotions a little bit after what India did to Zach Crawley in that final over. So to see him actually go and lead that, to see him drive that forward, yeah, he bowls 90 miles an hour, he's got great balls in him, but to emotionally and bring the theatre to Test match cricket like he did, your teammates jump on that. Your teammates thrive off the energy that bowlers bring. So for him to be appealing with such sort of energy and diving around in the field and roaring when he bowls a good ball and a bouncer, and you know, that's why we love watching fast bowlers in Test match cricket. That's why it draws you in, because it brings that drama to it. And Jofra really led that this morning. We can't underestimate how big a lift that was, because if England didn't get 3 wickets this morning, Pant, KL Rahul and Washington, they lose the game.
Can you share the little text that Joff sent you this
No,
morning?
he just texted me last night, just saying tomorrow's going to be a good day. Very calm, very relaxed. But I think for him, that is that's great that he's looking forward to that. He's looking forward to the pressure, the excitement of having to arrive today and get 6 wickets to win a game. It would have been very easy for Jofra to just say, do you know what, 4-day cricket, not worth the risk. I can earn millions and millions of pounds around the world, just bowl 4 overs, doesn't really matter if I go none for 50 or 3 for 20. He wanted that emotion and that drive that he saw today, the crowd up with him, driving him forward. And he won't want to stop here. You know, we've got a brilliant series coming in the winter. We've got 2 huge Test matches to go. Whether he'll play both, I doubt, but that will give him a lovely little taste of what's to come.
And Mark Wood is on the comeback trail as well. Talk about the captain, you touched on it already. How significant a moment, how special a moment, how athletic a moment, how skillful a moment was this?
And cricket awareness. He said on interview to Athi, just in his periphery vision, saw Rishabh sort of stutter just there, and he could have gone for KL Rahul's end. he went for Rishabh Pant's end, and any fielder, he said, when you see it going towards that stump, it's just a great feeling, because you know if I hit, Rishabh is struggling. He's just a wonderful athlete. He was in the middle of a spell, and yet he can still do that. And that's why he wants from everyone. There was a moment today when the ball went to Jofra long on, and Jofra sort of strolled in, and he was into Joff. It's McCullum, and he'll tell you, McCullum, there is no you just strolled to a ball because of moments like that. If you're just switching off for a second, he could have been, he was in the middle of a spell, he could have easily just been, I'm on my heels here. They get the single, Rishabh Pant, KL Rahul go to lunch, India get a lead, and the game could have gone. So my point being is that in 5 days, there are moments that you have to get, and he got that moment because he was switched on.
You always talk about Ben's emotional intelligence. What about how he handled Jofra overall in this test match? Because Ewan brought it an excellent piece out there in the middle.
Yeah, I debated with you last night. I would have gone Jofra this morning, because I think there's certain people you put your arm round and go, I'm backing you. And there's certain you just give them a bit of a kick. You didn't bowl a great spell that end, you can wait. I think Jofra is the former. You put your arm around him, you've gone through some difficult, I believe in you, I back in you, I'm giving you your favourite end, now here's the ball, go and deliver. And he did, he could have gone the other way, and Jofra could have come on and still bowled beautifully. So I think he's handled them pretty well, but as I always say about Stokes, he's your friend, but he's not your best friend. He'll put his arm around you and give you the first over this end, but if you don't do something properly in the field, he'll come down on you like a ton of bricks. So Ben gets that pretty much spot on. He'll look after you, but you've got to put it in for him as well. It's a two-way street, that.
How significant also was Carse's spell last evening, and also the fact that Stokes, I know it was Akash deep, but he produced this just to give everyone in the ground and the team a massive lift as they walked off.
We always talk about this sort of magical word momentum, don't we, in cricket, and just to finish the day with a wicket. I spoke to the England players this morning, and they said they hadn't heard the long room walking back after a day's play as loud as that ever, roar. And that only happens because you get a wicket with the final ball of the day, and the crowd are emotional to that. Yeah, it was a night watchman, a tail ender, but that scoreboard looks so much healthier, 4 down rather than 3, and ultimately it gave then Stokes the chance to open the bowling this morning, which maybe if he didn't have 2 balls left, he would have chosen something different. But Carse was fantastic last night. He was emotional, he was driven. The ball to Shubman Gill was a cracker. He bowled a few full ones, and I think whether he was aware that the Indian batters were struggling to pick the ball up, I'm not 100% sure, because that was the feedback we got through Kumar Sankara, that they were struggling to see it, and that can happen. The pavilion is a very busy background. If the sun hits it at certain times, it can be hard to see. But that's the ball that England have been looking for to Shubman Gill all series. That one that sort of runs back and catches him on the shin. And Carse bowled beautifully last night. He could have had a couple more, to be honest. And I've been impressed with him. When he first came into Test match cricket, I hadn't seen a huge amount of him, but I was a bit concerned whether he moved the ball enough. But he's shown incredible heart. He's shown incredible drive through the pain barrier, and can swing the ball like we saw late last night when he went a bit fuller and can nip the ball. So he's been hugely impressive.
Jofra there saying about we're being a bit too friendly, maybe we've got to get in on it. How significant was this moment in terms of bringing that home to England? Right, here we go. You've ignited this. We're going to go after it.
Yeah, I mean, it did fire up both teams, and you've got to work out within your team which way is best to go. So it fired up Siraj, as you can see there, and he bowled beautifully the next day. But if you're going to give it, you're going to know you're going to get it back. I've played with cricketers that for that very reason they don't give it.
Yeah.
They don't give it to the opposition because they know when they go out to bat, they're going to get it double in return. So once they had given it to Crawley, they knew that every single England player in this England side, with McCullum as a coach and Stokes as your captain, if you go after one, you're going after 11 of them. So once they had done that, there were 11 coming after you, especially Zach, who's a very popular member in this side. If it was Broad or something, it's like whatever. Crawley, you go after him, 11 are coming at you, and every single bat, you don't forget, you never forget, which one was it? When they got him out, Zach Crawley, which one was it that went after him? So you don't forget, and they'll come in. I think it was done just in the right spirit, and it was nice at the end. Once they'd done all that and they'd gone hard at each other, there was handshakes and hugs. We played it tough, Now we'll play it fair as well.
What are those altercations like in Test match cricket to be a part of? Wonderful.
Absolutely
How did I know
wonderful.
you were going to say
It's what you live for. I mean, you just see Zach Crawley just snap a little bit, don't you? Just his eyes go a little bit. It always reminds me of Joss Butler when the ball hit him off Philander. You know, his eyes just disappeared for 10 seconds. Ultimately, that's exactly what top-flight international sport is. It's country versus country. It obviously needs to be in the right way. You don't want physical contact or anything that's too over the top that looks really ugly on our screens. But I think you want that edge to it. Now, since that over, how good has this Test match been?
You tweeted, didn't you? I've been moaning about the over rate all Test match, and that was the best 7 minutes of the Test match for one over.
Yeah, I loved it. I mean, to be honest, I'm not sure it is now. It was up until then, but then the Test match just got better and better. And you saw, I was saying to Jofra earlier, bowls the bouncer to Reddy, first ball, little sway, past his nose, everyone's in. Everyone's in on him, having a word, making it feel uncomfortable for it because of that. And, you know, awesome.
Don't we have we should just touch on, I mean, Siraj was distraught there at the end, but he's brought so much to this Test match in terms of his drive for the team, his enthusiasm. He's been pinged 15% of his match fee and 1 demerit point. What's your take on that punishment?
It's just not for me. I said it, and I'm being consistent in Port Elizabeth when Rabada went after Joe Root and celebrated right in his face. These are not robots. These are people giving it absolutely everything. Ball after ball. It's hot. It's been a hot week. It's a flat pitch. You're a fast bowler steaming in. You're playing for a country that's passionate about cricket. You're passionate. You're a fiery individual. Sometimes you will go slightly over the mark. Just a quiet word from the match referee. Be careful. You do not want 22 robots in a game of cricket. You want a bit of character, you want a bit of fight. I think Siraj has got both of those. Just a quiet word would have done for me.
A couple of notable milestones for the individuals on the Indian side, actually the losing side. Again, sensational. He wanted his name on the honours board. He didn't play in the last Test. He delivered.
He's unbelievable, isn't he? He's incredible. He bowls beauties. The one to Harry Brook through the gate, Stokes down the slope through the gate, Root just got to 100 off peg through the inside edge. Yeah, he just makes things happen. Even when he didn't pick up wickets, the ball was lifting and moving and creating. And to be honest, the way he batted today, he's got fight in him. He's got grit in him. He looks a really good team man. He looks like he's really invested in what the team are trying to do. And you know, he's one of those players. You always have players in Test match cricket that don't deserve to be on the losing side, and this week Bumrah has to be one of those.
Joe Root, another 100 at Lord's, 8th, 37th 100 on a difficult pitch at the time. Difficult because it was so slow and turgid.
Difficult to score off, not difficult to survive, especially if you're Joe Root and you've got 200s here last summer. But, you know, it just makes batting look so easy. He doesn't worry about the tempo. If he does hit it off the bottom of the bat or an inside edge down to fine leg, it doesn't faze him. He would have been the other option, I guess, for player of the match, but Stokes had such a complete game, and Joe won't bother one bit about any of that. Played beautifully, and he'll carry on playing beautifully for a long time. He'll break so many records. Broke the record for the number of catches by an outfielder as well. Hopefully he's going to be around for quite some time.
We shall start to look forward because we've got a bit of a break, but then we go to Manchester. Talking about breaks, he ain't going to be there, is he, Shoaib Bashir? So it's bad luck for him. That goes without saying, and he'll need a period of time to come back. Alternative options for spin?
Well, you have someone that's obviously been in the setup for a while, like Jack Leach. He could come in. It depends who do they want as their second spinner in Australia. You think Bashir's going to go as a spinner. You could go Liam Dawson. I really like Liam Dawson as a cricketer, and there's been opened up, hasn't there, with him, the white ball stuff. He's come back in for the T20 side and done well, so everyone's getting on, and he's back in the fold, and he's been with Brendan McCullum. So I like Dawson as a cricketer. Then you could go Carson, the young off-spinner down at Sussex. I was speaking to Cheteshwar Pujara about him today, and he said, yeah, he's a real talent. He's not bowled particularly well this season, not badly, but not particularly well. There's Calvin Harrison that you may know something about. He was at Nottinghamshire, he's out on loan at the moment. He's a bit left field. Bethel, you could play Bethel as a spinner who bats now that they're up and really go deep with your batting. For me, it's either Leach or Dawson, but who knows with this selection, they could do anything.
How do you see it?
Yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it? I think at Old Trafford you need a specialist spinner. That mention of Bethel, who could maybe come in and bat 8 and bowl some left arm tweaks and use Ruti as the off spinner.
Rayhan Ahmed?
I think he's been mainly used by Leicestershire as a top order batter this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, I mean, Leach is still on a central contract. He was the second spinner in New Zealand, played in Pakistan, if I'm thinking right. But, you know, Liam Dawson is a solid option as well, isn't he? You know, he did really well in the T20 that we watched and covered up in Durham. Just a solid cricketer. You know, he's not going to let you down. He covers that number 8 spot if you wanted to give Chris Wokes a bit of a rest as well. So, yeah, I don't know which way they'll go. They haven't necessarily ruled out Bashir yet, but I'm sure they will.
Yeah, he didn't look great when I was speaking to him earlier. Anyway, we'll see what they do. And also India have got a decision to make about Rishabh Pant. Now, obviously, we don't know how bad that injury is, but, I mean, he's had the greatest test match ever. He's made someone else keep wicket, and he just goes out and bats. But, I mean, if he is struggling, is it just a straight swap, do you think?
It's whether he can play as a batter or not.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Dhruv Jurel could keep, and they could move on from Karun Nair. Luckily for him, there's quite a big gap between now and Old Trafford, but keeping could be an issue, the fact that he did not come back and keep at all. I'd like to see him play as a batter. India, for me, Wardy, this is a tough one to take. The amount, if we had those pie charts we used to do of who's won sessions, they have won so many sessions. They have put in such a shift in so many games. Headingley, how many sessions they win there? How much good cricket have they played? And they're 2-1 down because of those key moments, because of those little collapses, because of the Rishabh Pant run out, you know, the drop catches and things like that. That is a tough loss to take. They need this break, India. If it was another back-to-back, that would be a hard one. They need this break.
That's why we got rid of Sky Pie, because it showed all of that. Well, they've won every session, but they're 5-0 down in the series. How does that work? Should worth going back to this, though, the winning moment. 5 hard-fought days, and with its last breath, the ball knocks the bail off. And off they go left, celebrating wildly. Reminds me a little bit of Trent Bridge when Jimmy Anderson led the charge against Australia, and you got the 2 batsmen down on their haunches in the middle, devastated.
I think this kicks back off the...
It comes back off, it does.
When you mark middle,
yeah.
when you mark your stump, it just kicks back off the 5 days wear there, and darts back towards the stumps. It's one of those, isn't it? When you dream about winning a test match, you dream about off stump being knocked out the ground and the wires everywhere. Not the bail just like hanging on and dropping off. DK made a great point. So if it was zinger bails, it just wouldn't have moved.
No.
So, yeah, I must admit, I was watching behind Nasser, and the first time I was aware that the bail was off is just I saw the players running. We were blocked by Jamie Smith. It came off at such a tight, such a sort of light angle. But yeah, wonderful scenes. And England, I was going to say, deserved to win the Test match. I think that it would have been a devastating loss from the position they got themselves into at 8 down. But India will also look at that chase and go, have we not got 200 on that?
Yeah.
Have we lost 3 wickets late last night, 3 wickets this morning, and still get as close as we did? So yeah, it's you saw the emotion in the England team. That is just awesome when they were running off, chasing Bashir, celebrating, exhausting Test match. I mean, I feel tired. I've only watched it. The players must be exhausted. They'll be ready for 3 or 4 days off and head up to Manchester early next week.
We have had 3 fantastic Test matches. At the moment it stands England 2-1, next one at Old Trafford, and then we're back to the capital for the final game at the Oval. Gentlemen, thanks so much indeed. The next cricket you'll be seeing is the white ball variety, and there's a lot coming up this week. We start up at the Riverside, and we start tomorrow with Durham against Surrey from the Women's Vitality Blast at 2:25. 6:25, the men take over against Leicestershire. Wednesday, back to women's cricket, the first Metrobank ODI from Southampton. England against India from 12:30.